What's up, guys? Today taking a look at, powering a guitar pedal that doesn't have a battery powered option. And I'm talking about those little nano pedals that you can't fit a battery in. So if you don't want to use, the power supply from a wall outlet, this is going to be your ticket. So what you're going to first need is one of these 9-volt, connectors for your battery. And then what I have here, and you can, purchase this if you don't have it, but I just got an extra, daisy chain. These are 5.5 by 1.2 millimeters. And it's important to note the polarity. So if your pedal, most modern pedals have negative center. That means that little hole right there, that's going to be negative. And then out here is going to be positive. And the reason it's important to note that is because your battery has a positive and negative. So the negative, you want to go to that hole. The positive, you want to go to the outside. And what we're going to do here is just cut this wire off here. We're going to peel it back and we're going to solder this into this connector and then plug a 9-volt battery, and then you'll take this end, put it to the pedal, and now your pedal is able to use a 9-volt battery instead of plugging it into a wall outlet. Alright, so after you got the wire cut off, you're going to want to strip it back about 1 inch. Next thing, you're going to want a multimeter. You're going to set it to ohms. This one, like I said, is stripped. There's 2 wires. There's the shielding and then there's this one. We need to find out which wire is connected to the outside and the hole. The way to do that is take your multimeter probe, put that on. You're going to have to hold it, and it's kind of hard to do with one hand here, but I'm going to do it anyway here. So you're going to look at you got that in there. You're going to touch one wire. You can see it's flashing open, so that's not it. You're going to touch the other wire. We can see that is it. So right there, this wire, that is the one that's connected to your hole. That means that is going to have the ground. And if you have a snap connector like I do for the battery, and I'll show you on this one here, the back, if you get a utility knife or a razor blade, X-Acto, whatever, the back pops off and then you have access to that. And you can see where they go. So the red one is going to the large, the black one is going to the small. So that black one is what we want to connect to this wire right here. And then the shielded wire will get connected to the red. And what I like to do is make this look as professional as I can. So I'm going to cut these wires off. Once I get them cut off, I'm going to feed this wire through that little hole where those wires come out. Save these wires for something else. And we're just going to put a dab of flux to tin both of these wires, and then we're going to tin them. You got to be careful so you don't melt this. And you're going to connect them up appropriately. Okay, so what you can see here is I took and broke the black wire off. I opened the crimp up. I tinned all the wires, and then I tinned, you can see that little spot there. So what we're going to do is push that wire right down there, and we're going to solder it there. Alright, so you could see I soldered that there. Now what we're going to do on this wire is we're going to add a little bit of heat shrink, and we're going to break this red wire off and solder this wire to where the red wire is going. Okay, so you could see That's all I did, is add the shrink to that shielded wire, and then I soldered it over onto that other connector, which is the large connector, and that is your positive. So now all you got to do is get some flux cleaner, clean that up so it doesn't arc. Okay, so after you got this thing assembled, it's good practice to put the probe back in, and then you're gonna come over and touch each lead that connects to your battery, and I'll tell you why in a minute. All right, so we're on the negative side, which you can see is good, and then you're gonna wanna touch the positive side, and that should flash open. Now on this other one here, I had to take it apart because as I tested, just like I showed you, both leads here were grounding out as such. And the problem with that was I cut the heat shrink a little bit too short, and this wire, the shield wire, was actually touching the ground, so your positive was touching the ground. And if you do that, just get some hot glue and drip it in there. But other than that, it's good practice to do. This one is ready to go, as you can see. Alright, so here's a 9-volt battery. You can see the small side is indicated positive and the large side is indicated negative. And here is our little adapter. So we're going to snap this together. And then this pedal over here, I don't have anything plugged into it. So all we're going to do is find the hole. That's what she said. And plug it in. And you can see power's on, power's off. If I unplug it, no power.